What's the difference between industry-leading brands and the average ones? Easy. The leading sharks know their customers very well. Did you know that by watching Netflix, you're being identified as one of 2,000 taste communities? Yes, friends, they run over 250 A/B tests each year, and they need the data to inform them about each decision customers make. Like literally, whether it's hovering over a thumbnail to watch a trailer or choosing the next series to be loyal to. They want to know exactly what their customers want, what they like, why they like it, and what they can improve. Honestly, it's not a surprise that industry-leading brands really focus on identifying customer needs, since 73% of consumers expect businesses to understand their needs and expectations. So if you don't know your customer, then you're in trouble. Today we're going to be talking about the benefits of identifying client needs and how to do it effectively. Let's start off with the benefits of identifying and understanding customer needs. First of all, what does customer needs actually mean? So they are the triggers that drive clients to seek solutions to their problems. Put simply, what drives customers to come to you and purchase your products? Why do they feel the need to purchase your product? What motivates them to do so? Understand it and you'll know how to market your products to catch people's attention even more. If you really do put in the work to understand client needs, then a bundle of benefits awaits, like boosting brand loyalty, creating more customized marketing campaigns, and improved sales. And who doesn't want that? These are brand-wise, life-changing benefits, so get on that train as fast as you can. Don't wait another few months, because we're talking about your business's reputation and revenue here. So let's get into which tools and tactics to use. Number 1, review the most recurring questions from customers. Before we bite into the chocolate truffles, start with the already in your kitchen milk chocolates, meaning go take a look at the data you already have in your customer communication tools. Take a look at the conversation history in either your LiveChat or conversation bot software. Go hunting for those emails in CRM and ask your customer support team to revisit the conversations they had with your clients. Ask yourself, what are the most frequently asked questions or reported issues with your product? Later, go to your support team and ask them if there are any between the lines qualitative feedback that you might have missed. And remember to take into account more than just the feedback on your product. You need to look at the full course, not only the appetizers. So learn about any website related issues like performance or user flow. Why so many food metaphors? Anyways, point number 2, run customer satisfaction surveys. Do it. Like, really do it. And when you do, here are 3 metrics to take a look at. Net Promoter Score lets you assess customer loyalty and calculate the proportions between those who love and hate your brand. Customer Satisfaction focuses on measuring client satisfaction levels. Customer Effort Score checks how easy it is to complete any selected process, like payment. You can actually run these and other surveys easily through a LiveChat software. Number 3, conduct social listening. Not all customers will want to fill out your customer satisfaction survey, and it's perfectly fine. You can conduct social listening to show what people say about your brand online instead. There are 2 ways you can approach it. Do a quick dive into your social media accounts and take a look at the comments, or turn to social listening tools like Google Alerts to run a more detailed analysis. I recommend turning to tools like Google Alerts more because it will allow you to scour the entire web and not just social media platforms. Moving on. Run competition research. It's a nicer way of saying spy on your competition. And thanks to the internet, you don't even need to hire a private investigator. But honestly, by visiting product review sites such as G2 Crowd or Capterra, you can read about what people like and don't like about using your competitors' products. And with that, you can improve your offer. Let's say you discover that users frequently complain about your competitors' terrible customer service. While you know yours is magnificent, then you know that you should emphasize your customer service more in your communication. But also check out what your customers say about your brand. People who actually make the effort to go and comment usually might be freely sharing thoughts on how your product could be improved, and that is priceless. Once you've collected the data from all of the above mentioned tools and any other channels that are relevant to your business, it's time to begin your analysis. The first thing you should do is categorize your findings thematically. You see, as you collect insights from users, you'll probably notice that there are a lot of random topics. And before you actually conduct your customer needs analysis, you need to sort them into batches. You don't want to leave it messy, trust me. Depending on your product or service, you might find it useful to divide your data into groups, like pricing. For example, customers mentioning that your prices are too high, questions about discounts, custom plans, and so on. Features, it's only applicable if your product offers a number of features. Quality, what is the durability? What are the differences between your products and your competitors' products? Do customers report any errors? The questions change depending on whether you're in retail or have a SaaS business. And customer experience. Is there any feedback related to your website or app's UX, sales team, or customer support interactions? Remember to collect insights for all of the stages in the sales cycle. Apart from that, you need to conduct a means-end analysis. Make sure that you follow a means-end customers' needs analysis approach to determine why people decide to buy your product. It's built by 3 points, which are features, the features that trigger the person to purchase a product or service. Benefits, the benefits or the consequences of the above-mentioned features. These can be personal or functional, like how the features make your customers feel or if they are convenient to use. Value, what the end result of buying your product is. It can be a bit confusing, that's why splitting them up really helps. Point number 3, visualize your findings. If you managed to collect your insights and understood them in and out, then congrats friends, you're nearly done. So what you want to do now is share the data with relevant teams to open up a discussion on how you can better cater to your customers' needs. To make it easier for all your stakeholders to understand your findings, it's worth visualizing your data. You can try out Miro for that. The last thing you've got to do is put your findings into action. So create an action plan that includes key performance indicators, objective and key results, ideas for improvement, and a list of people responsible for the delivery of your objectives. For example, if during your research you find that customers often complain about X and they feel that X is missing your product, then you can include X in your product roadmap with a strict deadline. Please remember to regularly review your action plan. With all that we talked about today, I'm sure you'll agree that identifying customer needs and understanding them isn't as complicated as it might sound, and that with the right tools and tactics, it's as easy as ABC. See you soon.